Hello everyone, my name is Christian, welcome to my hobby blog. Today we are doing part 5 of the Withering Watchpile. We are doing creature features, which basically, if the thumbnail doesn't explain it, is basically animals or creatures that attack. So, this was chosen by Leon, aka Undeadnightmare. Welcome back.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks for having me again. Excited to get through these films. And it's been a blast, man, and I look forward to this genre we're going to go through.
Yeah, this one, I cut it out in the last episode, the 30 minutes of us trying to choose the theme. But, like, I think it worked out really well because I was able to get through, like, a watch list. One I streamed, one I owned, and then one was a rewatch. So, they were all just fine. I know you said it was much better this time. So, all your movies were good.
Yeah, I didn't have a bad one, and actually two were first time watches for me, and one of them was a rewatch. But I hadn't seen it in like a couple of years, so felt good to revisit it.
Nice. The one I revisited was one I actually did during my 24-hour marathon, like, just a few months ago. Because I wanted to show it to someone, and I was like, you're gonna love this. And then they fell asleep. I was like, oh. I was like, either way, I got to rewatch, a fun director, which I'll get into. It's my number one. Actually, yeah, it's my number one, but I'm gonna go first. And it's nice that we don't have to explain what this genre is, because it's very self-explained. So,
Yeah.
it's not Giallo, where I have to go into the freaking history of Italian cinema to explain what that is, and like French culture, and Italian culture. So, huh?
This is just one to turn your brain off and enjoy these films.
Exactly. And this one, my first one, I'll just get into it. It was Killer Crocodile, released by Severin. It's from 1989. Which should have tipped me off in the beginning because it was very 70s the entire time. But overall, if I turn my brain off, it was really good. It was fun. But usually I have my brain on because I'm like, oh, it's, Italian movie. Let me see what they're ripping off. Because I always know they're ripping something off. And lo and behold, it was Jaws. The entire structure of the movie is exactly like Jaws. We have the exact same characters as the movie Jaws, and that's where I was bored. Although the entire real scale model of the alligator or crocodile was amazing. It was really well made. I was too lazy to watch special features, so I don't care enough about this movie. But it was fully movable. Like its legs moved, its mouth moved. I don't think its eyes moved, because it looked really goofy at times. But the music was really intense. It was good. They added an extra note to the Jaws theme. Instead of being like da da, it was da 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 da. So it was just different enough to where they could pretend like they didn't rip it off. So Italian cinema. But the intro of the movie is exactly like Jaws, where in Jaws it's just a teenage babe is hanging out on the beach and goes for a night swim, and that's when the shark attacks. In this one, it's a couple. The husband plays guitar, which he's not bad at. That was actually an enjoyable scene watching him play, and the wife is disinterested and out there to try and reinvigorate the marriage and all this stuff. And she's like, fine, I'm going in the water. And so she goes nude and goes into the water. And then she's getting dragged across the water, and it's really fast. And then the husband goes in and he gets killed too. Lots of blood. Blood fountains go off all the time, which is, fun. But, the next scene is them. It follows. This is a lead up to the opening sequence where, the music comes in, the title card comes up. But we see some fishermen fishing at night, and they're like, oh my gosh, we haven't gotten a single fish. No one's been around. And then like they're on a boat and the crocodile comes out from like the darkness and it freeze frames. It's like kill a crocodile, and the music comes on and it just stays there, and we get like a montage of attacks, which is fun. But what the story of the movie is that a college research team is investigating why the swamp is being polluted and who is doing it. And so one of the people who is in the research team is a woman named Conchita, and she has a cute little dog. It's like a terrier, and she goes to I don't know why she does it. Her dog runs off and she lets it, and she hears it screaming. And so she goes chasing after it, like very slowly. She just kind of walks, and it's like Pumpkin. I forgot what the dog's name was, but she's like chasing the dog, and then the alligator gets her, and everyone's just kind of like, oh no, where did she go? And they find the body, and then they find the dumping site for all the like nuclear waste or something. It's something really bizarre. It's just like Godzilla a little bit, where radioactive material makes the creature bigger, which is fun. I'm a Godzilla fan. But for the rest of the movie, it's just them going from one situation to the next. It's just like Jaws. But at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, we get a really fun scene where kids are playing on a pier, and some bratty boy like smacks a doll's hand out of a little girl's hand and falls into the water, and she's like, how dare you? And she like reaches in, the alligator like comes out, and we get a huge intense scene of like the entire village like coming and watching these kids like almost dying by these crocodiles, or this one crocodile. And our main research team shows up with the drunk fisherman, which is from Jaws, and they're like shooting at it, and the alligator doesn't care. I'm gonna be using these words like both alligator and crocodile because I just don't care enough. But they're attacking, and lots of people die, limbs are flying, and the final scene where the crocodile dies is like pretty awesome. So I mean, I know it's a spoiler, but I mean we all know it. I don't know why there's a second movie. I haven't watched it, and I don't really want to. I kind of want to like sell this because I own Jaws also. I like that movie a lot better. But if you like Italian ripoffs, this is it. I'm trying to think of a really good Italian ripoff animal attack film that I would recommend more. I don't really know. I mean, this one's really good, but like, you gotta turn your brain off, and you can't have the movie Jaws in your head because it's exactly the same. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like you said, I think that's my favorite Italian ripoff. Actually, is this one.
I know some of them are really bad, so that's why I couldn't think of any. So I was lucky that this was enjoyable, not bad.
Like you were saying, that crocodile looks impressive. I really liked how it looked in the film. Thought it was top notch for practical effects.
Yeah, and what's funny is that this is the time when like CGI started to become a thing. Jurassic Park was what, 1991? So like 2 years later after this movie, like CGI started being done very well by one person who coincidentally also did Jaws. So
yeah,
it was nice to see practical effects for this. Oh, I gotta talk about the best creature feature of this type. Has to be what's that fucking crocodile movie in the 2000s, Placid Lake or whatever. That movie's awesome.
Lake Placid.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
And Anaconda. It's a snake movie, but I love that movie. So.
Yeah, me too. Anaconda's great.
Gotta have Ice Cube.
Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, when she was good.
Yeah.
What? Oh no, that's Halle Berry. She did Catwoman. Never mind. I don't know what Jennifer Lopez has been doing since Anaconda.
Uh, since then, I don't know, but that's a good film of hers for sure. Um, like you were saying, that guy on the film, that's like kind of like the boat guy or whatever on Jaws. He reminded me a lot of Crocodile Dundee. I don't know why too.
Yeah, he's
He was like
definitely
mad
dressed
like
that
that.
way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like when he said that, I was like, yeah, and then like mixed with Crocodile Dundee in a way.
We also get the corrupted judge who like won't investigate like anything, but he's like really boring. He sits in a chair the entire film and sweats. This guy sweats like a fucking hog. It's so disgusting. His shirt is always like really heavily wet, and he's like heavily breathing. I don't know if that was the actor. Like he just did not want to be in the fucking Amazon filming this movie because it's really cheap to film there. Because that's why you see a lot of cannibal movies like filming in like Brazil, because it was like no cost. It costs less to film there and buy a plane ticket for each of your crew members and do transport everything than it was to build a set. So that's why you get a lot of those like shitty cannibal movies. The only ones worth it are Eaten Alive and Cannibal Holocaust. But
check out Slave of the Cannibal Gods. I recommend that one.
Is that a Cardona film?
No, heck no. It's fun, man. He has Stacy Keach in it. It's a blast. It's an oddity.
I'm trying to think of anything else I have to say, but there's really not much. If you've seen Jaws, you've seen this. There's a lot of blood, though. I'll give it that. Lots of corpses. Limbs.
Yeah,
flying,
I like the effects in it. Yeah, like you're saying, you don't know if you'll watch part two. Part two's pretty much part one, just done worse. So
oh, no.
I could understand that. Because
I was like, what, did they not clean up the nuclear waste? I mean, everyone dies in the movie. So.
Watch part two. There's a catch to one of them. One of the characters. But part two is not as good as that one. So if you didn't really care for part one, you're probably going to be more pissed off with part two.
It was while I was watching it, I was like, I didn't care for it. But as I'm explaining it now, I'm kind of like, yeah, if you turn your brain off, I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's one you can't take serious.
I don't do that with Italian movies because I'm like, okay, what are you ripping off? It's like that's the only thing I think of when watching Italian films. Okay, here we go. We're trying this new IPA that I bought from Voodoo Ranger.
Nice.
Just to throw that in.
Let me know how it tastes, man. If it's good.
Ugh. I don't know. It's a Belgian beer. Whatever. You know, that taste, New Belgian.
Yeah, that Belgian taste.
Yeah. It's basically that. It's very alcoholic. Oh my gosh. I'm like sitting there. Immediately I'm like drunk and I took like a sip. It's 9% for like this tiny like Coke can sized thing.
So it's not fucking around, man. It's not.
But yeah, so let's see a movie.
Okay.
That was really short. That was 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's what happens when you really don't enjoy a film. I'll just scan through it. Okay, my film's gonna be Slithis, aka Spawn of the Slithis from 1978.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch this.
And this is actually rated PG. I can't believe that. I don't agree with it. But you said to name an animal, so I'm gonna go with the creature in this is a radioactive reptile.
Ooh, awesome.
So it's pretty much a swamp monster. It gets caught in toxic waste, becomes radioactive, and pretty much gets out of the water. There's water area surrounding the city, and it makes its way out of there and pretty much is hungry and wants to eat people, pretty much. So it pretty much starts off with this old couple. They're funny, hilarious. They're arguing. They're the husband doesn't want to wake up to go check the noise. The wife hears a noise and seems like their screen door got broken through, and he's blaming it on the dog, and he's like calling the wife old hag and all kinds of funny names. So he pretty much doesn't want to go check out what's going on. So finally he does, and you go in there, and there's this creature in there. Pretty much mutilates them pretty bad, man. You see their bodies torn up in the living room. You see the wife's pretty much like a skeleton, which I thought was pretty cool.
And this is PG.
So, this is PG, man. But it is also 1978, so I don't know where that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Stand. Yeah.
That was before the video nasties, when ratings were a lot more important.
Yeah. So this creature pretty much looks like a mixture. What I wrote here is creature from the Black Lagoon mixed with a miniature Godzilla.
Like Son of Godzilla.
Yeah. It's pretty much a rubber suit monster, which you see back then.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's got a dirty, grimy street setting, and it's hilarious because we have bums that are getting attacked by this creature. And it's funny because they pretty much are all drinking the same bottle of whiskey, like everyone in the movie. It's the same green bottle, like no matter who's drinking. So,
I'm curious what the budget was, if that's the case. They spent all the money on the fucking rubber suit.
Like, you'll see a bum on the side of the road, he's drinking this whiskey. You'll see a couple at dinner, they're drinking the same bottle. So you're like, But yeah, you got another person, they get killed, and you got like a perverted old man that picks up a hitchhiker, and this girl's like obviously looks like 16 or 17, and he's telling her, yeah, you're going to my boat with me, you're 20. He keeps insisting that she's 20 years old. Like, he just laughs, and he's like, so anyways, they get to his boat, start to make out, whatever. This creature attacks the boat,
she
kills him pretty viciously. She went with him, yes.
Oh my god.
And you see, that's why I'm saying PG, man. You see boobs and everything. Saying PG. And then pretty much this creature, when he murders murders the people, he pretty much rips their intestines out. He's eating their intestines, it shows that. So again, PG.
I'm just laughing that it's PG. And you're telling me like these reanimator level gore, like intestines and people turning to skeletons from all the meat getting eaten. Like, oh my god.
You see rubber intestines getting ripped out, and you see that Italian color of blood, that off color.
Oh, that ravioli.
You also see it
the ravioli.
Yeah, ravioli. Yeah, just splattered everywhere through their mouths and everything. But yeah, this film's pretty fun. It's like B-movie-ish. This creature, pretty much like I said, he rips them out. He's a scaled creature. You have a pretty good showdown between the main characters, and then you got this guy. He's just like it's kind of like how would I call it? A journalist, and he's a teacher of journalism. So he's the one cracking down the case, and he's going beyond the police. You have that story where he's fighting back and forth. They're telling him to stay out of it, but he still wants to go through. And it leads to kind of like, I'd say kind of like a Jaws ripoff too, because you got him and this guy that knows the waters, going on the hunt for the creature.
It's my least favorite trope.
Yeah,
this like Jaws ripoff movie.
And he's like, I'm a fisherman. I catch the best. Don't worry. And then all of a sudden you see him getting ambushed by this creature, and he's helpless. So I'm just like laughing, like, what happened to all this talk, man? Now that this creature's on here. But yeah, it's pretty fun B movie. It wasn't my favorite out of the bunch, but I did enjoy it. And like I said, you do got your sleaze factor mixed in with some pretty good kills and practical effects on this. A rubber monster, can't complain. But glad I saw this one because I'd never seen it.
It's a classic of B movies. I know that because that was one I've always heard about that I haven't seen. It's up there with like Manos, Hands of Steel or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I've heard of this one countless times too, and I've never seen it. Oh, also I wanted to point out there's a girl that wears an outfit in this from the 70s, and it looks like she's wearing a corduroy rug on her. Straight out of the 70s. It's hilarious. So that stood out to me too. I was like, what the hell? Is she wearing a rug? What kind of style is that? And I said, oh, it's a 70s.
It's like in the movie Martin when they go into that house where John Amplis is like prank calling like the two phones, and then one phone can't play while the other phones are like in use. And like the entire interior design of that house is just bizarre. And that's like the most 70s looking house I've ever seen. It just looks like rugs everywhere. They have like really bizarre like wallpapers. Like that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, this one it looked like she was actually wearing the rug.
They didn't have any other budget. They spent it all on the rubber snake.
Yeah, so they had to cut out a rug and put it as an outfit. I understand that.
Is there a better snake movie?
But yeah, that's pretty much I got to say with this film. Man.
Is there a better snake movie than this?
I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think. I would say Anaconda, yeah.
I want to say Snakes on a Plane, but that is so unique and so well done that I can't compare with anything else. Sam Jackson is
yeah, this would be like a B movie Anaconda in a way.
Anaconda was just always awesome. I haven't seen it in 15 years when it came out. I know they have the new box set by 88 Films, I believe. Somebody. But
yeah, I have the first pressing of that box set.
Well, if you hate it, I'll gladly buy it.
Garbage. I only like the first two. After that, they're terrible.
I've heard
like sci-fi CGI.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But you gotta admit, I grew up on Sci-Fi Channel. I watched all those shitty. I almost did Three-Headed Shark versus Octopus, but I was like, nah. I was like, I'll just rewatch another movie, and because it was this movie and the next movie, which I'll talk about here soon, that were like new watches for me, and they both were like just okay. I was like, okay, let me finish off with something great, like that I know that I like.
Go out with a bang. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got on this film.
Okay,
I enjoyed it, but it was the least one I enjoyed. Okay.
We're making great speed.
Around the same time.
But I also want to add to yours that it was also made in 1978, is what you said. You talked about ravioli blood, and it just makes me think of Dawn of the Dead. Same year, same blood, all that.
Yeah.
So that was
looks exactly the same, like that blood.
That makes you sick. It's like it's not blood. It doesn't look like blood at all.
It's like real bright.
I'm sure it looks great in 4K. I have it on DVD.
Oh yeah, looks amazing for the film, the time in the film.
Well, shall I go on to mine?
That's pretty much on that film. I'll have to cover. So. We shall go on to yours, man.
Alright, so this is my really weird one that I stretched the rules a bit with. So just to set that up, I'm going to say that if you replace the creatures, quote-unquote, in this movie with zombies, it's a creature feature. So the movie I did is 1988 by John DeBaio, Return of the Killer Tomatoes. I had to choose this one. I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to watch it, and I finally was like, fuck it, I'm going to watch it. Technically, it's creatures, because it is scientifically engineered tomatoes that turn into humans and attack people. So, I thought it fit.
Nice.
But,
I always wondered about this film.
Yeah, for years I've been wanting to watch this. The original one is amazing. It's up there with Gremlins, in my opinion. It's a little more linear, though. A little less meta than Gremlins. But just as fun. And this one is more of the same. Because it's a lot more... This was just after Gremlins, I believe. Or right before Gremlins 2. Because... You start the movie off with like a raffle, like your Mega Bucks, like lottery raffle that you see on TV. And it's like a big to-do. And they're like, okay, the money you're gonna win is... And then you see like the cash counter going like, jackpot style. Where it's like all the numbers are flipping and all this. And it's like, oh, you're gonna win $9 if you guess the number right.
Oh,
and everyone's like, yeah! It's like, it's overacting, and it's kind of hilarious. And then you hear some like narration be like, no, that's not what the people want. They want Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And they're like, ah, fuck. And so they switch the reel, like in real time. And then we get a fun beach scene of a bunch of bikini gals, and they're all taking the tops off. And this is like PG-13. So we get a lot of side boob, not like full on like breasts. So we get lots of side boob in that. And it reminded me of Gremlins 2 when they're like destroying the reel. And Hulk Hogan is like, hey, you fuckers, put the movie back on. We want to watch Gremlins 2. Except that's like done way better. And just that's a part of the movie where I was like, yes, this is my favorite movie of all time. Like, I love that scene so much in Gremlins 2. It is,
Hulk Hogan, man, come on.
Oh my gosh. The first time I saw Gremlins 2 and that came up, I was like, okay, I'm a Joe Dante stan. I will simp for him. I will do whatever he asks me. Like, this made my life. But,
that movie's so much fun, man.
Oh, man. I should have watched that. Fuck. I would have gone on for 2 hours on that. But, you hear some more narrations like, come on, man, just put in the movie. You hear like a bored teen. So it kind of sounds like Napoleon Dynamite. He's like, oh, come on, I just want to watch a porno. And then so he finally switches it to Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And we get the Mad Doctor, who is played by Sean Astin's dad, Sam Astin. I believe he's a very classic actor. You've seen him before in everything. Wow. He's really great. But he turns a tomato into a human who is a Rambo knockoff. He has the face, he has the bandana, he has like a Gatling gun. He's like, hey, you! He's like, oh shit, and he like presses the button and switches him back to a tomato, which is really funny. And then we
oh man,
get to like the teenage character introduction, who is played by George Clooney before he was ever discovered, and he's like the sidekick. And we get the most boring guy as the main character. Meanwhile, George Clooney is just eating up all the actors in this movie. He is just amazing in this. But he's sitting there like, you know, flirting with everyone. Mothers, grandmothers, babes, like all this stuff. And George Clooney is just having so much fun in this movie. And there's a montage. Because it's an 80s movie, we have a montage with the theme song of Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And it's like, oh wow, this movie's crap. They're phoning it in. They're trying to make more money off the brand. Like, the lyrics are really funny. This movie is amazing in the first half, but it kind of goes off the rails. And not in like a Gremlins 2 way, where it's just like, you know, we're in full anarchist mode with Gremlins 2, but like we see George Clooney and the main character, who is played by someone we never knew, and of course George Clooney became the biggest actor of fucking modern times. They're at a really weird pizza shop that they work at, and because tomatoes are like such a stigmatized like creature, like race of creature, they banned tomato sauce. So this pizza shop is the shittiest fucking pizza shop I've seen. I've worked at a pizza place, and you can't make pizza without like tomato sauce. Unless you do Alfredo sauce, but that adds like 400 calories per slice. So I mean, can't really do that. But they're having pizza like peanut butter and anchovies, and like peanut butter and gummy bear pizza. It's like so disgusting. As a ex-delivery driver, I was like, oh god, because I know how pizza's made, I know how to prepare it and all that, and I was just like wanting to throw up the whole time. But the Doctor is making a new strand of tomato because they have a recap of the original film where they just take a bunch of different clips for like 5 minutes, and we get narration by a doctor who's like, here's what happened, you haven't seen the last movie. And the people are watching it on TV and they're like, wow, has no one ever seen the original Return of the or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and the solution at the end of that movie is that the tomatoes are like resistant against a pop song. It's like really bizarre. And so he's like, damn, Pat Benatar. You know, like her song ruined my master race.
Shit, man.
Like all this stuff is really funny. Again, the first half is really good. But he's like, I'm gonna make a strain where it's not resistant to music. Well, where it is resistant to music. And any music. Except for one song, which I can use to control the tomatoes. Because they turn into humans. And they have thought and conscience and all that. But we get a really funny scene where George Clooney is running like a fraud like business, where he's like, hey, let's go meet Rob Lowe, who is like, I think was voted the sexiest man that year. He's in Tommy Boy and a bunch of different movies. I think you know him.
I can see that.
And he's like, come meet, Rob Lowe. Let me get your phone number, your social security card, your credit card number, and like all this stuff, and leave me your photo. And the girls are like, oh boy, I want to meet Rob Lowe. And George Clooney is sitting there like getting down all the information. and our main character who works at the pizza shop with him is like, come on, dude, what are you doing? And George Clooney is just like, come on, man, I'm trying to get some babes. And he's just like going off, like getting everybody's like personal info, addresses, pictures, and all this stuff. And at the end of the scene, the main character walks away, and he just kind of looks to the side and he's like, hey, have I told you about the Playboy project I'm working on? And it cuts.
Oh, man.
It's so funny. But we meet one of the hottest characters in the movie. She's one of the tomato people, but she hates being a tomato. And she's the girlfriend of the doctor. She's like 50 years younger than him. Because she's like in her 20s and all that stuff. But she's constantly like horny also. And keeps like flirting with our main character, who is the most boring guy ever. He's like the weakest part of the movie. Everyone else is like amazing. But the doctor throws away a really fuzzy tomato who has like, it doesn't turn into a human, but it is like really sweet. It's like really lovable. And at one point in the movie, they're like, oh shit, we ran out of money. We gotta do, what's it called? Product placement. And George Clooney and every character for the rest of the movie, they're holding like Coke cans. And when we have a sexy shower scene, all the shampoo like follows the camera as it like goes around. And it's really funny, but our hot girlfriend takes a fuzzy tomato from the trash can after it's been like thrown away, and like shows up and is like trying to hide it, and everyone's deathly afraid of tomatoes. There's even a drug deal scene where the guy's like, come on, man, show me the goods. And he opens his jacket and it's just a bunch of tomatoes. Like,
oh, man.
This movie is really funny. It should have been my number one, honestly, now that I'm explaining it. But this was all in the first half. And really after that, it gets really bad. Like, it's just fine. It turns into Gremlins, where there's a lot of fourth wall moments. But, I don't know. I mean, my number one movie is, of course, it's a rewatch. So, like, I love that one.
Yeah.
But, like, this one, it got old after the first half. It was just constantly jokes in your face. Like, the entire time after, like... So, they actually go to a pawn shop at one point. The main character and the girlfriend, who's also a tomato, and who doesn't want to be a tomato. And she's like, oh, let's go to this pawn shop. And he's like, I don't know. And he's like holding his collar, like, eh. And like all this stuff. And she's like, come on, it won't be that bad. And he walks in. He's like, oh, you want to see our kinky stuff? And they go in the back, and it's like a bunch of like porno on tomatoes and stuff. Because it's like forbidden now. It's like a taboo. Which is where a lot of fetishes actually come from, is the whole idea of like taboo and like breaking the rules and all this stuff. But
yeah.
they walk in there, and she's like holding up dildos, and it's like a PG-13 movie, by the way. I don't know how they did any of this. And she's like, "Oh, do you want to use this?" And she's like, "I already have a dick." And she's like, "No, me on you." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gone." And like walks away, leaves the shop, and she's like, "Come on!" She's like waving it at him. It's like after that scene, it just dips, because after that, it's like, okay, there's nowhere else they can go. Oh, there's 45 minutes left.
Oh shit!
And George Clooney's the best part of the whole time. So that's really all I can say.
Some early George Clooney, huh?
Yeah, it's like his second movie. He has really long, greasy hair, so he's not like sexy George Clooney yet. But yeah, I mean, someone saw him and was like, "Cut your fucking hair."
Yeah,
and you'll become like the most popular dude ever. And he did. So
I could see it. Kind of reminds me of Cutting Class with Brad Pitt. You have like an early Brad Pitt character where he's just like all goofy.
He stole the show in this movie. Like, as I said earlier, the main character is just the most boring guy ever. I just couldn't stand him.
That's wild, because he's the main character. You thought you'd have some charm to him or something.
Yeah, George Clooney should have been the star.
Yeah.
But they didn't know who he was at the time. I mean, I swear I saw a story about him, like about this movie, because it was... I kind of forgot he was in it, but then when I saw him pop up, I was like, holy shit, that's George Clooney. And I remember a story about him, how he had like no money and was just taking any projects that he could. And he auditioned for Return of the Killer Tomatoes, and he was like, yeah, this is a total joke. This is so I can pay rent. And he, like, you can tell he just does not care in this movie. He's just so sarcastic. He reminds me of, God, what's his name? Fuck. I've seen clips of Deathstalker 2, the main guy in there. He's also in Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
Where he, like, everyone is just trying so hard to, like, act in that movie, and he's just having so much fun. He does not care one bit about Deathstalker.
Is he the one chewing bubble gum? He's always chewing gum.
I think so. He's the guy with the big forehead.
Yeah, he's like always chewing gum, like all overly acted with the gum.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. I need to get that. Oh, that'd be a good Spooktober movie.
Yeah, that's classic, man.
Yeah, like George Clooney should have been the star. Like, he was so fucking funny. Every scene he was in, I was just laughing. Cause he's like, "Hey,
they should have.
Like, you want to meet Rob Lowe? I'm the second choice." And they're like, "Oh,
that's hilarious." They should have switched roles, him and Clooney.
They should have. Like, the main guy I've never seen again. Meanwhile, George Clooney's like the biggest star in fucking Hollywood. Like, he's still getting really good roles.
Oh,
His best one is, Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like, that's my favorite George Clooney role.
Mine's From Dusk Till Dawn. I love him in that movie.
Yeah, that one's really good too. And I always have to, because Quentin Tarantino is in it, and we all know that I hate him. But I gotta remind myself, it's Robert Rodriguez, and I like him. So I always have to, like, remind myself, no, it's not a Tarantino movie. He just stars in it.
It's Robert Rodriguez. It's not Tarantino.
Just keep it's a good movie, I swear. Even if my most hated guy's in there.
Did you notice there's a feet scene, though, with Salma Hayek?
I haven't seen it since I was, like, 10.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't remember that, but...
The alcohol with her feet. I bet you Tarantino had that scene.
Oh, yeah. Do you know the band Rammstein? The German metal band? For the music video Angel, meaning angel in English, they did that whole scene. And did all that. That's how I know it. I actually watched that first and then found out...
Well, Tarantino's in that scene, right? That's the one they're doing it to, is Tarantino.
Yeah, and in the Rammstein video, like... that released like a year or two after, like 1998, I think was when the album came out. They did that scene shot for shot, and I like that one more because it's my favorite band and has awesome music playing. It's not Tarantino having a woman's foot in his mouth while she pulls.
Oh, he's smiling.
Whiskey. Oh god, I hate him so much. Enough of that, but a better movie like this, I would say, is Gremlins 2. it's also a sequel to a very popular 80s comedy. So, just watch Gremlins 2. That movie is so rewatchable. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that because you said there's like a Rambo scene in Gremlins 2. You have Gizmo go Rambo on one of the Gremlins.
we even get a rainbow scene and that one movie, Dial Code Santa Claus. In the beginning, when the kid is working out and he's like rubbing the black paint on his face. Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah.
But that's a Christmas movie.
Classic.
I can't watch that Spooktober. I've got that on my mind. But
that's December, man.
Fuck, yeah. I watched that Christmas Day last year, so that was fun. But I guess we should move on to yours. I don't have any other thoughts on that movie.
Nothing else.
Did awesome the first half and just teetered
Oh,
off.
that's too bad, man. Because it sounds very promising.
It was awesome the first half, and then I was just like, okay. Okay, get it done.
They run out of budget, or what? Or
I don't think they actually did. They had 2 film crews, which was one was the fake one that was on screen, and the other one was the actual one. But yeah, it was fun. It's not bad. It's my second.
I'm gonna have to check them
than
out.
Killer Crocodile.
Topped it. Nice. So, you want me to go into the second film now?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Okay, the second film is my rewatch. The one I said I hadn't seen in a couple of years. So this is a early 90s film. It's a man's best friend.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like Anaconda.
Nah.
We've been talking about it this whole time. I've never even heard of that.
It's directed by John LaFia, and my streak continues. He died in 2020.
Can't win them all.
So, yeah, he was a writer for Child's Play in 1988 and a writer for Child's Play, the Reimagination or whatever from 2019. This stars Lance Hedrickson. Everyone knows him. And it has Ali Sheedy from Breakfast Club. She's like our main character. I probably slaughtered the name, but anyways.
Yeah, if you pronounce the name shitty, I don't...
Yeah, I don't know. It's just maybe the beer's kicking in. I don't know. But yeah, this film's so 90s, it's not even funny. But we have her, she's a reporter in this film, and she's pretty much trying to break this story. We have this corporation, and we have a doctor played by Lance Hendrickson, and he's pretty much doing like research on animals. He's performing these, like, how would you call it? Scientist stuff on them. I'm not too smart on that. But
Experiments.
Experiments, there you go. I couldn't think of the word. But she actually supposed to meet a reporter. She goes missing, and she breaks into the facility to get a story. And as she does this, they release this dog named Max, and he's one of their main experiments. And once this dog lays eyes on her, he pretty much falls in love with her. And she cares for him as well. So pretty much he jumps in her car as they're escaping. She takes him home. But then the doctor's like saying, this ain't no ordinary dog. You don't know what she took home. He's dangerous. He's one of our top experiments. So you got her at home, and right away you notice that he's like romantically into her, the dog.
I thought you meant the scientist. I was not ready for that.
No, the dog. It's like she gets home, she's in bed with her husband, her boyfriend, and he's getting jealous, the dog. So he's a real smart dog, so he pretty much like sways her in there. He opens the door and gets in the house. Pretty much tries to viciously attack the boyfriend, her husband. He's scared because this is like a big old canine dog. You know what I mean? You'd see it, you'd be scared. But yeah. Anyways, as it goes on, you start to realize this dog. The doctor explains to the police that's looking for him. That this dog has every like different animal traits in him. He has like a snake, a lizard, cheetah in him. He has all kinds of animal DNA in him, so he can do all these traits they do. And he says that he put him on a medication, so as soon as this medication runs out, he's gonna turn into a vicious killer.
Ooh, taking time bomb element.
Yeah. So it's like they're trying to get to this dog before, he totally flips out and just starts going on a murdering spree. pretty much. So it's hilarious because you got like these two stoner dog catchers, and they're like chasing this little dog, and they grab it, and they're like, the stoner goes, "You better watch it, little man, before I stun gun you in the butt." And then they start doing this stoner laugh, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just like real random. Yeah, like the Seth Rogen, and these guys, these dog catchers are pretty much like they're acting like they're all tough, chasing little dogs, right? But pretty much you have Max. He goes pretty much on a walk with, that's the dog's name, on a walk with a neighbor's kid, and they're walking him, and they right away he sees a cat, and they're like, "Max, go get that cat." So he like runs after the cat. You see the cat just go up a tree. It's like laughing, like, "Ah, you ain't getting me." And then all of a sudden you just see Max's claws extend like a cat because he has all these DNAs in him. And he goes up the freaking tree, pretty much laughs back at the cat and swallows him, dude. You see him swallowing the whole cat, and it's like practical effects. It looks real crazy. And after that, he just like walks down the street. He sees this dog, like this lassie female dog, and he's in love. So he runs over there and breaks in the house while the owners are gone, and pretty much has a sex scene, a dog sex scene in this film.
Oh my god.
With him and Lassie. So it's like he's in there having sex with the dog, and it's playing Puppy Love, the song. And I'm like, oh my god, that's like out of nowhere.
This is so cheesy.
Oh, it's cheese, man. And then you see him like he's walking down the street with like the pretty much his saliva hanging down, and he's happy he just got some. He goes to this random like a fire extinguisher, and he starts to piss, and we realize he's pissing acid. You just see the fire extinguisher melting. And I'm like, so he pisses acid too. And this is where this film just turns into a straight, I could consider this film but like a slasher in a way, because this dog's like a slasher. He's just taking out people one by one, and he it has a funny showdown between him and a mailman, dude. Like the mailman, they're like on a showdown like you'd see in the Wild West.
Oh my god.
Like a Western, and then this mailman pulls out the mace and just maces him, dude. And then you just see this dog just like shrug it off and like, now your ass is mine. So you see the mailman like running and pretty much gets that mailman and rips his jugular apart, dude. It's real slasher like. And you slowly start to see that medication wearing off, and he's going into madness. So then she starts to see, like, she's like, I can't take care of this dog. She takes him to this like junkyard, and they're pretty much abusing him. And he pretty much turns on this owner, attacks him. And you see this owner with a blowtorch from welding torch him across the face. You see this dog. Now he has like a torch, like flesh wound across his face, and half his eye is blind. He just looks, reminded me of Cujo in a way, the movie Cujo. But he's running down the street with this burn across his face and eye, and he looks real like menacing, man. I really liked how he looked. And he's going back. He feels betrayed. He wants to go back and pretty much go after her for abandoning him, the one he was in love with, the owner. And it turns out his brain is actually the brain of a human, so he's doing all kinds of stuff. He's pulling brake wiring for someone to get killed. He's like intelligent, real smart. And as you go there, he's outwitting the detectives trying to get to her. And it leads to a showdown between the doctor trying to get him and her trying to, run from him because he's still after her, like kind of stalker fashion. But yeah, I can't give away too much else without giving the whole movie away. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I would consider it like a modern day Cujo film. I could compare it.
Who released it?
Scream Factory has it released. But it doesn't have the slipcover edition, but it's just a standard.
That's fine. I added it to the list. I'm sold.
I have it on. I had this movie on VHS. That's how long I had.
Oh wow.
I've owned this film. But if you like Cujo, you'll like this one. It's like a modernized Cujo film. And the film that's the film I'm going to say I would compare it to that is better is Cujo.
It's funny because the entire premise of Jurassic World is that genetically engineered dinosaur that has all the different DNA of many different creatures.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this did it way better because I don't really care for Jurassic World.
Yeah. I would say the same. This film's It's a lot of, like you said, cheesy fun, man. It's a cheese fest. But I think a gem because you don't see too many of those adaptions from Cujo, and I would put this one right there with that film.
Two amazing dog attack films that I probably should have chosen instead of the other Killer Crocodile. But one is Play Dead. That one is amazing. I've reviewed it. I love that one. That one, Satan takes possession of a dog through witchcraft, and it's amazing. And then the other one is White Dog, which is released by Criterion on DVD. They don't have a Blu-ray of it. But that movie is all about how a racist trained a Great Pyrenees dog, which I've grown up with many Great Pyrenees. We mostly had Great Pyrenees dogs. So it had that extra layer of, like, you know, horror to it. And that entire movie is basically about this dog that was trained by a racist to attack every black person ever, like, that it sees. So we have lots of scenes of it escaping the woman's house who is trying to rehabilitate it. Because, like, the dog is really violent. Like, for some reason, they don't know why. And so they take it to a pet kennel who is run by a black man. And he's trying to rehabilitate it. And it's a really sad movie. It's really well done. It's, like, more of, like, a serious movie than this movie. But it's so good. And I haven't seen that movie in a while, but there's some really scary parts in that movie. And there's a scene in that movie where we finally get to meet that owner who trained it. He's like, oh, and he's just dropping the N-word left and right. He's just the biggest piece of shit ever. Yeah. And, like, Criterion needs to release it on Blu-ray. It's so good. I actually have a review on it from, like, 2015, 2016, when Will first asked me to do a website so I can, like, start getting good at, you know, movie reviewing and all that. And that was, like, one of the first movies where I really studied it and, like, looked at shot composition, editing, pacing, all that. And yeah. It's a great dog attack movie.
What year is that movie from?
Oh, it's from, like, the late 60s, early 70s. So
okay. I'll have to look out for that one. I like those kind of films. It's Killer dogs. You don't see too many of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what other ones beside those two. Cujo, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have one from Arrow called Madhouse, which does involve a dog. He's an evil, demonic dog, but he's not the main killer. He's like the assistant. That's all I could think of.
I haven't seen Madhouse. I thought Saint Bernard was going to be a killer dog movie, and I was thoroughly disappointed by that.
Yeah, that's a batshit movie. A batshit crazy.
Waiting for that. The whole movie, I was like, oh man, attack dog movie, hell yeah. And we just had a head of a dog, and I was like, oh.
Watchman's best friend, man. It's fun.
It's added to my list now. Shit. I don't often add movies to the Shout Factory list because I have enough to I'm like, okay, I have what I need. The rest is just stuff I want, like, you know, Friday 13th box set. The Omen box set I never planned on buying, and I saw it for like $35. I was like, fuck. I was like, gotta get it now, like $7 a movie. And the first one's like legitimately really good, but I didn't care for the sequels. I mean, I haven't even seen the sequels, so. But I know in one of them, he's like the president of the United States, but he's also Satan. And I heard that one was just awful. Like, so.
I haven't seen any of them.
Well, October's here in a week, so.
Yeah, good one to put on the list there.
I'm gonna rewatch.
Yeah, I also forgot to mention this dog has like lizard in him, like where he could camouflage himself. So he camouflages himself.
Dinosaur does. And Jurassic World.
You can't see him. You're like, you turn into a motherfucking predator.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, son of a bitch, I think he says.
Get to the chopper.
And the dog is chasing him. Get to the chopper.
Get to the dog catcher truck. Let's go.
Even better is them hunting the dog down. They have all the machine guns that are shooting into the woods. It was like a dog, not the predator.
Yeah.
His tracks end right here. We don't know where he went.
And it's funny because the cops are chasing him, shooting him, and he's dodging it. Just like running.
I hope there's like Matrix slow-mo of him like dodging the bullets.
There's slobber coming out of the mouth.
Bulletproof saliva. That would be awesome. Okay, someone needs to go make that movie to satisfy.
He does piss acid. I thought it was pretty cool.
That's not something you see every day. Even
No.
in cult film stuff.
There's a scene with that too. I won't give it away.
Does he come inside of a dog and like melts from the inside out?
That's interesting because she screams like a fucking banshee, bro, when they're getting on.
Is
But
it because of a big dick or acidic cum?
I have no
Who knows?
idea. But
It's
it's a howl and a scream. It's a howl and a scream combined.
Oh my god. Is there
And the
anything
neighbors
else?
are even looking out the window.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to say about this? Before you get off the rails too much?
Yeah, no, that's it, man. That's it. I really enjoyed it. It's a classic of mine, for sure.
What year is it, by the way?
It's 1993.
Ooh, okay. That's like in that
Early
golden
90s.
age of creature features. Of shitty ones.
Yeah.
Where it could make a break.
Yeah. So
Like
bad they're
Anaconda.
entertaining. Yeah. Yep.
Shall I go into my final one?
Crazy, man. Go into your final shimmy shimmy raw. Just kidding. Man. Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, I watched Champagne and Bullets. No, I didn't. I really stressed if I did that one. Oh my god.
The heart's a creature, man, in that film.
Yeah, John DeHart is definitely a creature. A perfect creature. Lusting off all the women.
I'll vouch for that, man.
But the one I actually saw was a Takashi Miike film. I did it in my 24-hour movie-thon that I did. It's a 2007 movie. It's Terraformers. Basically, the government in the year 2500 round up 15 or so criminals to go eliminate cockroaches on Mars, because for the last 500 years they just keep sending nukes and moss to like what do they call it, kind of change the atmosphere and climate of Mars to where humans can live on it. And they've been doing that for 500 years, sending nukes and moss and cockroaches, because they're the most resistant and can live like under extreme conditions. And so for 100 years they've been doing this. And so, well, 500 years, I mean. And so finally they send a bunch of criminals who they say they're gonna pay when they succeed at the goal of killing all the cockroaches. But, I mean, they're all criminals, they're all, awful people. There's people who in the Yakuza, there's people who robbed, like, a gas station or something. I don't know why they're using gas, by the way. Like, the year 2500 should all be renewable energy. But, hey, that's probably just me. But, like, by the end of the decade, I think we should have renewable energy. But maybe I'm just, optimistic for humanity. When in reality, it's awful.
You would think so.
But, so they get there, and they're like, okay, we're going to send a pod out to, like, make sure, the air is good. Try to find the, cockroach nests and all that. And they get out there, and they're like, oh, what the fuck? And it's a giant, like, really ripped creature, like, standing on hind legs, and it just kind of looks at, the Japanese criminals, and it just appears in front of them and, like, snaps the neck. And they're like, what the fuck? And it ends up that they have been super evolving cockroaches with all the nukes. To the point now where they have super sentience, super agility, super strength, all this stuff. And so they immediately run back to the spacecraft and, like, hold it in with, like, bulletproof windows. And they're like, okay, y'all, this was a backup plan, but we're gonna pump each of you full of bug DNA, so you can become the bug to destroy the bug. And you're just like, what? What is going on? This is when the Takashi Miike weirdness comes in. Because up until then, it's just like your typical sci-fi movie. But it's during this time when Takashi Miike is like, okay, someone just gave me $100 million to do what the fuck I want. I'm going to put in some weird shit. So each of them, like, they don't do it all at once because it only lasts for like an hour, I think. The DNA change. So the more solution you put into your bloodstream, the more powerful your bug side becomes. So by the end of the movie, one of the characters puts in like all of it, like at once, and he becomes the bug, but just with enough human ingenuity that he like is able to use his bug powers. So they all become like superheroes. Imagine the Avengers, but instead of like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, all these people, it's just bugs. and they fight waves and waves of cockroaches, and that's my creature, it's a cockroach. And so the issue I have with this movie, and I think I talked about it in my review, is that it's very high highs and very low lows. There are scenes that literally put you to sleep because it's adapted from a manga, which is like Japanese comic books. And the big issue with manga is that every time a character does anything, we gotta spend 5 minutes explaining what he is doing. So when they inject the bug DNA, they're like, here's what the bug is, here's its scientific name, here's its powers, here's its weaknesses, here's its strengths, and it just goes on and on. I'm like, just fucking don't do any of that.
Okay.
He injects it, he turns into the bug, he kicks ass. And one of them has like the mouth that like looks like a hose. He's able to eject out flamethrowers. So what he does is he jumps onto the vehicle that breaks down. They undo the brakes. They put on neutral. And he blows fire out. And they rip across the landscape of Mars on the vehicle that's broken down. But because of jet propulsion from his mouth, they can go anywhere. And waves, like giant like tidal waves of cockroaches that work together to turn into a tidal wave are like hitting the car, and the different other criminals are like turning into other bugs to like fight them off. One of them becomes a beetle so that they can have super hard armor and they can't like hit the car. It's like all these really great ideas, but it's really hampered down by these exposition scenes. And I know I should have put Return the Killer Tomato as number 1 because I have a lot more positive things to say, but this is Takashi Miike we're talking about. It's like an hour and 50 minutes, maybe 2 hours movie, which is longer than like any of his movies. And it really shows. It can be edited down. I should have watched the supplements. There's a whole like feature-length documentary about the movie, about the making of, that I should have watched, but I was just kind of like, again, this is a movie that I love because of its strengths. Because it's my dream come true. Just give me a Takashi Miike, a crew of misfits fighting against the odds.
Yeah.
And that's what it is the whole time. It's so funny. We get some really bizarre lines. I mean, the main guy who funds the mission to Mars is like an Elon Musk guy, and I hate Elon Musk personally. But like, he's so like, oh my gosh, I can make a profit off of this. This will make me cool. Like, he's really funny. And this is 2007. This is 14 years ago. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. This is my favorite movie. I mean, it's Takashi Miike, so I can see all the seeds that he was planting. But like, when is my Crazy Samurai versus 400? I talked about that movie, how it should have been Takashi Miike made, was a one-shot 70-minute fight of samurai. I was like, give me Takashi Miike on that. That review comes out soon. I won't go too deep. But it's like that movie, but with cockroach against bug superheroes. Like, it's a really bizarre idea. Takashi Miike really shines while making it. So it's just another Takashi Miike everyone should watch.
Wow.
It's released by Arrow, by the way.
I'm gonna add it to my list. I'm sold.
Oh, and the music is amazing. It's like super techno, like fun.
I like films involving Mars. I've always been intrigued by that, so
Okay, I
that right
won't
away
reveal
caught
it.
my
Never mind.
attention.
I had a thought, but I'm not gonna say it. There's a really cool part that goes into like the ancient aliens part that you see on
Oh,
like Nat
nice.
Geo. I won't go beyond that.
Yeah.
When you watch it, keep your eye out.
All right. Well, I'm gonna add that to the list, my pickup list for sure.
But yeah, what's your
Giant
third movie?
cockroaches on Mars. I'm sold.
Yeah,
Giant cockroaches on Mars. I'm sold, man.
yeah,
I
and it
said
was
March. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
on Mars. Yeah, it's a really cool idea, and as I said, it's very high highs and very low lows. So at times you'll
Yeah.
just pass out. Your soul will leave your body, and it does to me.
Oh,
Like this
man.
is my second or third watch, and I was still like, you know, my eyes rolled to the back of my head at some scenes because it's like, oh, we're about to have an awesome action scene. Let me explain to you the physiology of an ant. It's like you don't need
Oh
to
my
do that.
god.
Like,
Yeah.
just fucking
Just kick
give us
some
the
ass.
fight scene. Like, and like 10 minutes later,
Yeah.
I hear the music and I wake back up. And I'm like, oh, I'm back. And
Some action.
yeah, so shall we continue on?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely add that one to the list. I like the aspects of it and all that. And it's Mickey, man. I gotta
I mean, you
build
gotta
my
have a
library up
complete
with him.
Mickey collection. That's what I'm trying to go for. Not all of his movies I like, but I really like it. I mean, there's a biography that someone wrote that details like the first 100 movies, I believe, up to Blade of Immortal, where they study each one. I think they may
Yeah.
put them together like per essay, but I really want to get that. I think the first chapter is his life. It's like a 20-page chapter. It's like how like his background did it. Because I don't know if you know
Yeah.
this, but he was actually an intern of Shohei Imamura, who is a really big Japanese director. He's not up there with like Kurosawa or like Kobayashi or anyone like that, but he's like really good. He made a really great movie called A Ballad of Narayama that's on Criterion, but Arrow just released a box set like last year called like, I don't know, it's 3 films by Shohei Imamura, and it's Ballad of Narayama and like 2 other movies.
Yeah.
And I've been really wanting to get that box set. Excuse me. But that movie is one of my
Awesome.
best like non-Kurosawa, non-Kobayashi Japanese films. So yeah. He
Yeah.
was a student of his, so of a great Japanese master. And he used the skills he
Awesome.
learned to make these really shitty, also very weird movies, and I love it.
Sounds like up my alley too, man.
Good.
Shitty but weird.
Let me
That's what I'm talking about.
real quick.
Okay. I gotta go piss too, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, I try to wait. I couldn't.
You have my text?
You're happy.
Hello. Oh.
Cover, Baba.
The back. Back from the dead here.
Well, hi. I was gonna flip my my killer crocodile art, and I looked over and it was just blank. I was like, okay.
Oh shit.
I was like, all right.
No alternate art.
No.
Fuck.
I thought it was gonna be 1 and 2, like switch, because it's just 1 on the actual art. Because the slip covers both. Like you can look at the back, and there it is.
I never noticed that.
It sucks.
I'm staring at my edition up there.
It's exactly the same though, like color scheme, everything. So, what's your third movie? If you're ready.
Oh, let's get into my favorite one here.
That'd be a Mike.
I wish I had it. I don't have too many of his films. I need to. I was talking about the last film being so 90s. This one takes the cake right here. This is like 90s. Branded on it pretty much. Well, this is a 1998 film called Deep Rising.
Oh, that's a shark movie.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
It's like a giant mutated squid.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't know.
yeah. But it's directed by Steven Sommers, and he produced Odd Thomas, a film I really enjoy, 2013. He wrote the film The Mummy from 1999. He was one of the writers. This stars Trent Williams, one of my favorite B-movie action actors. He came out in The Substitute 2. It's a good cast from the 90s. If you watch this, you'd recognize a lot of actors from the 90s. But like I said, this film is so 90s, it's not even funny. But yeah, I'm gonna pretty much, this film, it starts off right away in the sea. You got like this crew. They're paying this guy to pretty much drive them to a location, not ask questions. And as they're driving him in this ship, you pretty much notice there's something fishy about these guys. Of course, they'll look like delinquents, so you could get the sense there. But this guy's just like the type of guy. I drive, I get paid, I don't ask questions. So he's taking him over there. But he has this goofy friend, man. That's just the still of this film, man. He's so funny and entertaining. I forgot his name, but he goes to be nosy and investigate, and he finds these like missiles that they have there. And pretty much these guys find out he knows about the missiles. They rough him up. So you have this guy, the one driving to his rescue. He goes to save him. And it turns into pretty much a tough guy match here. Who's stronger to get him safe. So you have that like 90s action feel to this film as well. But as they're going down there, you have this huge ship. I call it the Titanic. It looks like a modern day Titanic ship. But you got like all these rich people on a boat, and they hit this area. I guess it's like somewhere in the Asian Ocean, and it's rumored to pretty much have like the city underwater. And there's an area they haven't discovered in that area, and all these animals go missing once you hit that area. You can't find a lot of animal life. So as they hit that area, the ship, they start to feel like kind of like earthquake type of things. Their whole ship starts to shake, and the owner's a douchebag. He's like this rich douchebag. He's like, my ship's so highly intelligent, worth so much money, it won't crack, and whatever. He's going off.
Cracks immediately.
And all of a sudden you just see stuff falling and cracking. Exactly. So all these rich people are running for their life. You see like a girl runs to the bathroom and like stashes sitting on a toilet, and you see this like kind of like thing come up and just gushing the blood pieces in the toilet. So you have her body pretty much explode into blood red. And after that, you just a bunch of screaming. So now we go back to these guys. Turns out they had a purpose to go to this boat to rob the rich people. So that was their instinct. They had these missiles they were going to shoot. I don't know what kind of terrorist act they were planning, but they get to this boat, and it reminded me a lot of, have you seen the film, what is it? It's a Scream Factory edition. Ghost Ship?
I haven't.
Kind of reminded me of that.
I used to want to rent that from Blockbuster.
kind of reminds me of that, but not like a ghost story. But they get onto the ship, they're aborting, they get on it, and they realize there's no one there. The ship's half cracked. So as they explore in there, they start to find bodies. I mean, you see bodies like, again, skeletons, just all over the place, and then you see like this body floating in the water, and he's pretty much swollen from all the water. It looked really cool. That's where you get the practical effects.
Ooh.
And then after that, it turns into some pretty much out of date bad CGI, especially with the weather around the sea. It looks like you're just watching a cartoon like film. So the CGI could get bad, and then as they go in here, you have these like how would I say it? The parts of the octopus, it's like a creature like his arms or whatever. It's all going in there, and tentacles is what I meant, like tentacles.
Oh yeah.
And they go in there, and that's CGI, but the creature looks pretty cool for CGI. I didn't mind that. He looks pretty badass, and he has these tentacles that kind of reminded me of Tremors, because they go up like that. But if Tremors was CGI, and
the sequel's on.
yeah,
They're really
yeah,
bad.
the sequels. But he pretty much gets the victims, and he pretty much drains them. He drinks them like, he doesn't eat them. They drink them like a liquid, and leave their skeletal system there. So I thought that was pretty cool. And you have all these bodies they're just finding. Like there's even this scene like in the main area of the ballroom, just loaded with blood and skeletons. I thought that was real cool. And it does turn into like, it's mixed with action and horror. But you see these guys, they have these real badass guns. They're shooting these shooting through here, and the creature just has all of his tentacle arms going through each part of the ship. So you're not really fighting the creature head on. You're fighting like his arms and legs or whatever it is. But that's what'll swallow you. It has these like fangs. Like I don't know how many fangs when it opens up, and it swallows them. You see the bodies going in, and then I guess spits them out when he's done draining them. But it's real intense. And then you have like a back and forth battle. You got the good guys and the bad guys, and they're all for their own greed, pretty much. They turn on each other. But there's a lot of funny moments in this film, a lot of cheesy one-liners, and then that creature is pretty cool, man. You see him finally towards the end, just all over the ballroom. He just comes out of it, and you have a pretty good fight scene. You have some moments where they burn part of him, or they shoot part of his limbs off, which is kind of CGI. It didn't bother me, but yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun. Just another one to shut your brain off and just enjoy. And it pretty much, how could I put this movie? It's pretty much like if Predator and Alien got it on and gave birth to a B-movie knockoff. That would be this film. With CGI elements, but that's the best I could describe this film. But yeah, this was my favorite. This is one I'd revisit, and I just like the charm of it. And then like a lot of the characters reminded me of like the Predator characters. Is hardcore, they're not mercenaries, but they're like these hardcore like, how can I say it, villains. Like I don't know if I'd put them as pirates, but modern day pirates. But they have these big old knives and awesome weaponry, and and the one-liners, it reminded me a lot of Predator, how they go into the jungle and all this tough talk. And then the alien part would be the creature, because it's going in there and spitting out all this like alien gook all over him that melts him and stuff. So it definitely got ideas from those two films.
Did you say Alien or Predator? Because I kept hearing
both.
Okay.
Combination. Like I'd compare the crew to the Predator, because they're like not in a way mercenary type, but they're criminals. And then the Alien, I'd compare that to Alien, with reminded me a lot with, like I said, the gunk and the goo falling down.
The acidic one?
Swallows him. Yeah. This film's bizarre because it's like mixed. It has CGI mixed with practical, so it's all over the place that way. But and then it turns straight into an action movie. You get a lot of action, which that's what's up my alley, and I enjoy. I think that's why I like this film so much, with the action elements.
swings back to
But-
Predator. Where it goes
Yeah,
back
swings
and
back
forth
to
between
Predator.
horror and action.
Yeah, throughout this film. But I'd highly recommend this if you're into those type of films.
Who was it
And
released
I did
by?
get a. Let me see it right here. Kino Lorber.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. I barely ever look at them.
Yeah, Kino Lorber. I got it on the sale.
Deep Rising is what it's called.
Deep Rising.
I used to see a really cool. Actually, never mind. That was Deep Impact. I used to see a really cool steelbook of Deep Impact at my used bookstore. But that's not
nice.
Deep Rising. It's
Got the
close,
deep.
but it's got deep.
Yeah, and I did get a little supplement here on the extra.
Ooh, there you go. I didn't do any, so there you go.
It's probably the only film I got something, but it talks to the cinematographer, and he's pretty much talking about how they got him to do this film that the director and crew actually wanted to go out to sea and film it, and he was telling them not to because he said like the water's gonna knock the camera levels off. He's like, you're gonna have bad weather. We don't know the weather. And it's going to be cold. You're going to have actors grumpy because they're getting sick and all that. And so he pretty much talked the director and crew to doing this on sets. So they did it on sets instead of actual sea.
And did it work?
And it worked. He said it worked a lot better than he said he wasn't going to do the film if they were going to go to sea.
But did you like it? Did you notice if it was a set or not?
I did on some moments, but other moments it's just your typical movie you'd see. I mean, you've seen these type of films. You watch Ghost of Mars, that Carpenter film. It has that feel on the set.
I've heard that
sometimes
one's awful.
I like it, but it is bad. Not his best, but
I mean, if you compare it to the best, I mean, Red Letter Media has just started a series ranking each and every John Carpenter film, which I haven't seen yet. I really want to watch that video, but I'm gonna wait until they're done. But I'm curious because I know everybody hates Ghost of Mars.
Yeah,
I
pretty
don't even
much.
think it has a Blu-ray release because nobody cares.
I have the Blu-ray.
Oh, I assume it's in factory.
It's released from Indicator.
Oh, yes, Indicator. They make all the money no matter what.
Yeah. But I enjoy it, but it's not his best.
I haven't seen it. I just haven't had the
It has Ice Cube in it.
motivate. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna watch it now. I like Ice Cube.
Yeah, he's badass in the film.
He's amazing, and Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. I don't know if you were a '90s rap kid, but
Yeah, I listened to all that.
I'm a big Lil Jon fan.
Yeah.
May not be obvious, but I am.
Okay.
What? The Dave Chappelle skit where he's in the airport.
Oh my god.
What?
That's golden.
What? Yeah. What?
I love the Rick James stories by Charlie Murphy.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah. What does he tell him? Hey, chocolate. What does he tell him? Darkness. Darkness has entered the room. He goes and smacks him.
I was 8 years old when I saw those.
Yeah.
I was a fan back then, man. I don't know. 17 years ago. God.
Teenager.
I'll be 25 here in a week. Quarter of a century. I'm old.
Man. It goes by fast.
Well, hey, as long as I got my crocodile movies, I'll be fine.
I'm
so
a year away
bad.
from 40, man.
Oh, I thought you were 42.
No, I'm 39.
Oh, okay. I thought you were the same age as Will. Okay. That makes sense.
No.
I was like,
A few years
dang.
younger.
Why is everyone I know 42?
I'm on my last year of my 30s, man.
I'm not even halfway done with my 20s. I'm the baby,
Man.
as I have always said.
When I was your age, I was probably hitting the water bong and drinking 40s.
I do one of those.
But I mellowed down now that I got older.
But,
I said I mellowed down now, but the drinking's still going.
well, I'll say I'm a heavy drinker, so, I did weed for like a few months during my Pizza Hut job, and because everyone just kept giving it to me for free because they were like, "You never smoked weed before. Here you go." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I would just have free weed. So they were the same person giving me free weed like every week. So
yeah,
but I'll edit
I used to,
but so it's not.
I don't do it no
admitting
more. I used to
illegal stuff, but
yeah.
I've had weed in my closet for like a long ass time, and I keep getting interviews, and I'm just like, can I just smoke? Can I get rid of this?
Yeah.
Because I'm
puff pass though.
Because I paid for it. I better get my money's worth.
Yeah, get your money's worth.
But
I haven't done that in years, man.
Yeah, I mean, my one dealer stopped doing that, and now is a gym nut. He's become that guy. So, bro, man, I'm in the gym 2 hours a day, every day, man. I don't do that shit anymore. I'm like, come on, man, just hook me up.
Nutrition.
Come on.
You don't go organic no more, man. You just gotta stay organic. Tell him.
Yeah, man. Nah, dude, he does like CrossFit. He's that guy now. So, but I'm gonna leave a couple seconds here of silence so I can edit everything out easy.
Okay.
Okay, so is that everything? All of our comments?
That's everything.
So I already know my theme I'm gonna choose.
What is it, man? I'm anxious.
70s horror.
Yes.
I have a lot.
70s horror.
I gotta get through. So
I have a lot too.
A couple rewatches. A lot of 4Ks are coming in one at a time, and I'm like, God damn it. So I can't wait for Spooktober. I mean, one of them doesn't really fit Spooktober, honestly.
That's right up my alley. I was born with horror films, man. No.
What came out in 1996?
1996. Oh man.
Because that's the year I was born. So.
I'd have to look that up, man.
But yeah. So our theme will be 70s horror because that's my favorite era ever. Because you got John Carpenter, you got Dario Argento, you have who else?
I was golden.
Lucia Fulci.
Fulci.
Joe D'Amato. If you're into that, I'm not, but.
From Dusk Till Dawn came out in 1996.
Hey! I have something relating to that foot fetishist.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
David Lynch started
Scream,
in 70s.
Scream, 1996.
Hey, okay, I prefer Scream a lot more. Personally. I'm just going to